Hello everyone, this is Showtime 112. In 1960, Egypt placed an order for its first true supersonic fighter, MiG-19. This was probably motivated by the Israeli acquisition of their first true supersonic fighter, Super Myster, in early 1959. One interesting fact is that Israeli sources mention rumors of a possible Arab acquisition of MiG-19 as the motive for the Israeli Super Myster purchase. This is a very good example how arms races are created. Egypt received its first examples of the Soviet supersonic jet in the summer of 1961, and they comprised of MiG-19S, a day fighter with secondary ground attack role. The Egyptian MiG-19s were initially assigned to two squadrons, numbers 20 and 21, and they were based at Faid, near the Suez Canal. The period before the Six-Day War was not entirely peaceful, and Israeli and Egyptian combat aircraft would occasionally enter each other's airspace. On November 29, 1966, the Egyptian MiG-19 saw combat for the first time. Two Egyptian pilots entered Israeli airspace to test the defenses. Two Mirage 3s from No. 101 Squadron were scrambled in response. They were flown by Captain Michael Haber and Lieutenant Ilan Golan. Captain Haber was able to achieve a radar lock on one of the MiGs, and he launched his Matra R-530 radar-guided missile from a distance of 2 kilometers. The missile was successful and it hit one of the Egyptian MiGs. Lieutenant Gonen tried the same thing with the second MiG, but he failed. Captain Haber then attacked the remaining MiG-19 with his cannons. His first burst missed, but then he approached to about 200 meters and achieved hits. The Egyptian pilot ejected. This was the first kill for the Israeli Air Force achieved with an air-to-air missile, and the only one credited to Matra R-530. One little-known aspect of the Egyptian use of MiG-19 is their deployment to Yemen, where Egyptian armed forces helped the Republican government against royalist tribesmen in the civil war. Only a few examples were sent to Yemen, and no details about their specific use are known. When the Six-Day War began in June 1967, the Egyptian Air Force had about 40 MiG-19s and 140 MiG-21s. The average readiness for the MiG-21 units was about 60 to 65%, while certain special problems reduced that figure even further for the MiG-19s. The morale, on the other hand, was high, and Egyptian pilots generally believed that they could easily defeat Israel in a conflict. This made the attack on Egyptian air bases even more shocking. Bases hosting MiG-21s were among the first Israeli targets. The isolated airbase at Hurghada on the Red Sea, where a detachment of 14 MiG-19s was deployed, was not hit initially. Arab and Israeli sources don't clearly agree on what happened when Hurghada was attacked at 1 p.m., June the 5th. 4 Mirages from No. 119 Squadron appeared over the base and dropped bombs on the runway. According to Israeli sources, the flight leader, Major Ran Ronen, then strafed 3 MiG-19s parked beside the runway. A MiG-19 appeared behind Ronen and tried to attack him. Ronen maneuvered to get the MiG in front of him and shot it down with his guns. Ronen's wingman, Arnon Lavoshin, then shot down another MiG-19. Ronen shot down his second MiG-19, which was following Lavoshin. Fourth MiG was lost after it tried to land on the cratered runway. Egyptian sources tell a very different story. The patrolling MiGs returned to the base after the Israeli attack and there was no combat, although some MiG-19s were destroyed on the ground. After this, all but 4 surviving MiG-19s from Hurghada were pulled back to Cairo International Airport, from which they operated until the end of the war. This was part 1 of our video about the Egyptian MiG-19s in combat. Don't miss part 2 when it shows up in your recommendations. Second parts always get a much lower number of views and maybe people don't realize it's the second part and think this is the one they already saw. Don't forget to press the like button. Join our Patreon supporters or donate on PayPal because this is the only way for the channel to stay in business. Thank you and keep watching Showtime 112.